I believe we should be live. All right, here we are. We are live, and we'll see if we get some people to log on here. Right now, we're at 0. Let's see if, oh, we have one viewer. Good evening, viewer number 1. We'll let some people log in. If someone could please give me a thumbs up for a mic check, but I think we're good because we kind of heard it on another phone. But a thumbs up is always good. Tim, hey, how's it going, Tim? Good to see you. Well, I can't really see you. I can pretend I can see you. 14 viewers. I'm going to turn the volume off on my phone just in case somebody would call. That would be embarrassing if phone rang in the middle of a seminar. Thanks for the thumbs up, Rob. Perfect, perfect, perfect. We'll let some people get in on the discussion. Please, folks, tonight, ask some questions. Questions make these a lot more fun on my end than standing here talking to a camera and my good buddy Jay that no one can see. Jay is helping again run the switchboard. We'll make it sound the control room. He's running the control room. It is amazing what a guy can do, or a gal can do for that matter, with technology nowadays. Never did I think when I started doing seminars 30-some years ago that I'd be sitting in a makeshift studio in my garage going live to the world with a video camera and a Wi-Fi connection, but works pretty good that way. We're gonna let some folks log in because tonight we're giving away a prize, and supposedly you're supposed to be present to win, but I think they're gonna waive that restriction for the big hashtag DevilsLakeND photo contest, but we are going to give a prize away for that. So we'll let a few folks log in here. We'll just give it a couple more minutes. We'll announce it again halfway through or towards the end of the seminar as well, just so the winner has a chance to be in. But Craig, I said ask questions, but you can at least wait till we start the seminar. The answer, Craig, is yes. You can still get across the tracks in Pelican Lake. And there are some boats fishing up there still, so could be worth a look up that way. I haven't been fishing up there a lot, but some folks have, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. So let's, I'll give a quick brief introduction of what's going on the lake. And then we're going to give this prize away, and then we're going to talk fishing, and then we'll give the prize away again. And I am going to move all this stuff that looks like a yard sale here, but I wanted to show everybody what the winner got. And maybe it'll encourage some folks to participate in the photo contest next year. At least I'm assuming they'll have the photo contest next year as well. So some quick stats on the lake right now. The current water level is 1,450.52 feet above mean sea level. That was at about 4:30 this afternoon when I checked the website. A month ago, when we did this seminar, it was 1,450.64 feet above sea level. So it has dropped about 1/10 of a foot. I have a hunch it came up a little bit last week because we had a lot of rain. I noticed on my neighbor's dock that it seemed like it had covered his runway again, and it wasn't that way 2 weeks ago. Man, depending on where you lived in Devil's Lake, what, 4 inches of rain probably in a week? It was pretty, what's the word everyone hates nowadays? Moist. It was pretty moist. It was wet, flat out wet. Water temperature this morning out in the Minnewacan Flats where I was fishing, 71.2 degrees on the surface. That's probably pretty standard lake-wide right now. I suppose if the wind was blowing one way or the other, you might find warmer or cooler water. excuse me, but low 70s pretty much everywhere. It's actually down from a month ago. We had extremely high temperatures the end of May and early June, which had water temperatures well into the mid 70s. Finally got back to normal. And then for those of you that watch the weather, today was extremely cool. High temperature was right around 64, 65 degrees. I had a sweatshirt on till late this evening. There was actually frost up in the northern part of North Dakota last night. So welcome back to global warming. So much for that. Monday, hottest temperature or hottest day ever recorded on Earth. Average temperature was Monday, and then we have frost in North Dakota on Wednesday, Thursday. Crazy. And the water clarity right now, I'm going to call it pretty good. You can see down most places 2 feet. Wind obviously changes that, and the algae will change that. And there is a lot of algae in the lake right now. I mean, a lot. Much more than I'm used to for July 4th weekend. Kind of looks like August out there, actually, on dead flat calm days. It's starting to float to the surface and clump up and get really thick. Kind of hard to fish through sometimes. But right now, it's tolerable, but it is a little bit more than what you would expect to see at this time of year. So that's the stats on the lake. And we're into this now about 6 minutes. So I'm assuming whoever is going to be logged in for the seminar is logged in. So the Devils Lake Chamber of Commerce Tourism Bureau had a contest, a photo contest. And to win, you had to submit a photo of doing anything lake related. And I wish I had a picture of the winning photo, but I don't. You can go see it, and I'm going to tell you how here shortly. You had to tag your photo, hashtag DevilsLakeND. When you did that, it automatically entered you in the contest, and whoever got the most likes on their photo that was hashtag DevilsLakeND is the winner of this prize. And it's a Devil's Lake, we'll call it a Devil's Lake fun kit. The cooler, I think I would actually like to have. It looks like a pretty nice cooler. It's a 25-quart igloo. Says it keeps ice for 83 years or something like that. I'm not sure how they measure all that stuff, but it holds 38 cans. That's pretty good. It's got a bottle opener and a nice handle. And then as I put all this stuff in the cooler, I'm going to tell you what it is. There's a s'mores kit right here. So you got marshmallows, and you got your graham crackers and some Hershey chocolate. How can you go wrong with Hershey chocolate? You can't go wrong with that, ever. And then we've got a couple, here's a universal can cooler. Can't have too many of those. A nice little Devil's Lake thermos, if you can read what that says on there. We got some sidewalk chalk. I guess if you're young at heart or you're an artist, that might come in handy. I'm not really one to use a lot of sidewalk chalk, but somebody will. Here's a couple of inter tubes. You can come down to Lakewood Beach and float around. You see some people doing that from time to time. 2 inner tubes. Here are 100 water balloons that you can fill in 60 seconds. Looks like you plug that into your garden hose and have at her. We got some SPF 30 sunscreen. We got some bug spray because God knows there's a lot of bugs around Devil's Lake. We've got this actually really nice, Jay and I were talking before it started, this really nice coaster. I guess you set it on the sand at the beach. I don't know. Then we've got a 4-in-1 paddle ball kit here, and nice, there's no place like the lake tote bag. And that's the prize. That's the whole prize. And the winner is, and if you're online, let me know so I know that the winner knows they won. Kelsey Moore. Her Instagram name, Kelsey Lynn Moore on Instagram. You are the winner. So I don't know what this is all worth, but I'm guessing there's $100 worth there or more, maybe. So we'll set this off on the side. We don't need that in the way, but that's a nice prize for Kelsey Moore. And we got all that out of the way. So now we will talk fishing. Let's talk fishing. Talk fishing. Make some adjustments here. Oh, where do we start? Man, the fishing is absolutely off the chart, incredible. Walleye fishing is what I focus on this time of year. It's been ridiculous. I don't even know the right words to describe it. I know a lot of you follow my Facebook pages, my Instagram page, Twitter, whatever, and you see the catches. Someone commented the other day, don't you ever not get a limit? And I don't even like talking about that because someday that's going to happen. This cannot keep up forever. But it's been absolutely ridiculous what's going on the lake right now. Today, beautiful example, cold front came in this morning. It was chilly. I just got done telling you high of 65 degrees. It's been in the 90s for a while. You would think if anything was going to stop the bite, it would be weather like today. Well, when I was getting gas this morning at Ed's Bait Shop, I walked inside and they had a pretty good supply of leeches there. So I said, I better get a half a pound. Well, I had plenty with me, but you can always use more. So I got a half a pound of leeches and I figured, well, I'll just use out of them and then I'll dump them in my existing stockpile, whatever's left. At 11 o'clock this morning, we were out of leeches out of the half a pound I bought. So a half a pound of leeches in 4 hours, folks. That I don't care how many they caught. It's ludicrous to get that many bites in 4 hours. When you have 3 anglers or 4 anglers in the boat and cannot keep track of one bobber per angler. We didn't have multiple lines out. We had 1 rod per angler in the water today. And because everyone's helping their buddy land a fish, they lose track of their bobber. Some bobbers were gone so long that the rods were doubled over in the holder and the fish hooked themselves. It's just absolutely mind-blowing, and it's not 1 or 2 spots. Trust me, folks, I do not have a secret spot that I'm going to that's just loaded with fish. It's anywhere you want to go catch them. And I literally mean anywhere you want to go catch them. So we're going to talk about that. The bottom bouncer and spinner bite is absolutely crazy. A guide buddy the other day told me he took 50 night crawlers with him, cut them in half, and ran out before the day was over. So that's 100 bites in a day. 100 bites in a day. And probably more than that because a lot of times you'll catch 2 or 3 fish on one piece of worm. You know how that goes. They don't always eat the night crawler when you catch one. So again, running out of bait halfway through the day for a fishing guide is crazy because we're usually prepared for that kind of stuff. So let's talk about what's going on. What bites are happening? What techniques am I using? I can't really speak much for anyone else on the water. I'll mention a few other things that are happening, but we'll talk about the when, where's, why's, how's, all that kind of stuff. So the first bite, we mentioned it already, slip bobbers and leeches. Working really, really well. And this sounds crazy, but anywhere there's a hump or a bump or a hard bottom, you can drop a slip bobber with a leech, plain hook, jig head, you pick it, doesn't matter. And you're most likely going to catch some fish. Now, I have not been fishing super shallow. 12 feet, probably the shallowest I've been throwing a slip bobber right now. And most days it's closer to 15 to 18. The fish seem to be relating more to the edge of the hard bottom structure than they are right up on top. On the windy days, the cloudy days, yes, shallower can be better. But most of the days, you follow that rock down, you find that bottom edge, look at your side imaging, drive over it with 2D sonar. The fish are there. My hummingbirds have looked like simulator mode most of the last 3 or 4 weeks. It's just amazing how many fish are underneath your boat when you're out there fishing. Set your leech, your bobber stop, so you're 6 inches, a foot at the most off the bottom, and cast around the area. Try not to put all your bobbers in a cluster. This morning we started out 3 bobbers behind the boat, and I always cast a couple into the wind and let them drift down the sides of the boat till they get behind the boat and cast them forward again. The first 8 fish all came on the same rod, on the same bobber, casting it ahead of the boat. So what do? We start casting more bobbers ahead of the boat, or slide the boat forward 10 or 15 feet. Spot lock makes that really easy. Today's modern trolling motors all have some kind of feature where you can jog or move easily. My Minn Kota, it's just a couple buttons, plus, 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 move forward 15 or 20 feet, then the back of the boat's catching fish as well. But you want to cover some water till you find them, and they're going to come in waves. You'll catch fish like mad for 15 or 20 minutes, and then you might sit there for a while between bites. Then you'll get some more bites later on, 15, 20 minutes, half hour, it's like mad, then it stops for 10 minutes or so. No need to panic, no need to move. They'll be back. So what parts of the lake have I had success with this? Well, I've been primarily focusing from the main lake to the west, out in the main bay. I'm catching them on the rock piles around Knutson's Bay, Fort Totten, all those rock piles, humps and bumps out there. Come around the corner, Old Mill Bay, Money Point, Zebok Point, some of those. There's some fish around Patience Point, Haley's Hump, any rock pile or bump in the Minnewacan Flats themselves. You've got Maddock Ridge and Big Fish Hump. There's some stock dams throughout the place, the Minnewacan Lagoons, all that stuff. Get up into Pelican Lake, a little rock pile that I call Dead Man's Hump. It's really not marked on the map. It's pretty obvious rock pile east of Refuge Island. The moon bars are good. Any of that stuff can be good. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a hump on the bottom. Even just some hard bottom surrounded by mud. It's working well. If you go east, I'm sure all those spots in East Bay and Black Tiger Bay and East Devils Lake, all the rock piles over there are going to be equally as well. I haven't been there personally, but I'm going to say what's happening west is going to be happening east also. So the slip bobber thing is absolutely incredible. I had some questions the other day on how do I rig my slip bobber, so I'll show you that. Maybe we can get a close-up. I don't know if it'll show up on the camera here or not, but yeah, go ahead, give her a try, Jay. Let's see if I can. There we go. I got my bobber in there. So what I've been doing is obviously you have your knot first, then a bead, and you can see on there I've got a bead. It's a white one. Doesn't really matter what color it is. That's above the bobber. I'm trying something different. I went with a little bit larger bead because the last couple days I've got guide clients, and I'm not picking on anyone. If you're watching and you've been in my boat, please take no offense to this, but they keep trying to fit the bobber through the last eyelet in my fishing rod, and it doesn't work. That bobber will not fit. That's a pretty big bobber, folks. See how big around that is? That's not going to fit through the end of your fishing rod. And they jam the small beads in there and everything gets stuck. So I went with a bigger bead hoping that might fix the problem. So then below the float, I have a swivel. Right here is a swivel. And then I've got a leader. Oh, it's hard to see here in the picture, but I'm going to say 18 to 24 inches. On the business end of this one, I've got a plain hook and a bead. All right, you can use a small jig head if you want as well. Either one works equally fine. And then I've got just a couple split shot ahead of it. That's a fluorocarbon leader. My main line is 14 pound test. My leader is 10. I do that for a reason. Jay, you can switch her back. I do that for a reason. And that reason is you are going to get snagged. You are eventually. No matter how hard you try, you're going to set your bobber for a certain depth, and you're going to cast it out there, and you're going to find that one rock or that one log, and you're going to get snagged. And when you do, all you got to do is pull hard, and you're most likely just going to break the hook off the leader. Maybe you lose the whole leader, but you don't lose the bobber and the swivel, so you don't have to take off and chase bobbers across the lake. You don't have to thread all that stuff back on your main line. All you got to do is cut another leader, 18 to 20 inches, tie it on, put a hook and a few sinkers, and away you go. It makes things a lot simpler. So again, a plain hook and a bead, a small jig if you want some color down there. I honestly can't say that one has been out producing the other. They've been pretty dead even, my fishing experiences the last several days. So that's the bobber bite. The second bite that I've had the best luck with, and it's equally as good to the bobber bite right now, is trolling with a bottom bouncer and a spinner. You can do this in a lot of the same areas that you've been bobber fishing. Again, maybe slide a tish deeper, get on the outside edge of that hard rock structure, follow the contours around, and depending on where you're at in the lake, the right depth is going to vary. I've caught fish on bottom bouncers and spinners as shallow as 10 feet last week and as deep as 28 feet last week. And again, all depends on which part of the lake you're on or what type of structure you're on. But it's been working really, really well. When I'm trolling a bottom bouncer and a spinner, personally, I'm using a piece of Berkeley Gulp on the business end. A couple different tails that I like a lot. I use the 3-inch Gulp Fry. That's a pretty good bait. Any color seems to work, but the pumpkin seed is really good, and the watermelon pearl is another one that I've had really, really good luck with. You can go with a 4-inch Gulp Nightcrawler. Sometimes I'll pinch it down to make it a little shorter. I've also had good luck with the 2 and the 3-inch Gulp Minnows on a spinner. And one of my all-time favorites is the Gulp Minnow Grub. It is actually a curl tail. And yes, a lot of people say, man, why would you put a curl tail grub on a spinner? But until you've seen it in the water, you won't understand. I have not had a night crawler in my boat this year, and I don't plan to. You can catch 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 or 8 fish on a piece of Gulp. Kind of becomes a game. If you can get one more fish out of that piece of Gulp, I've found some clients get really creative trying to get that piece of Gulp back on there one more time. So that's worked really, really well. On the spinner side, Metal Blades and Max Smile Blades have both been producing fish relatively well. The Metal Blades seem to work a little better when it's a little rougher out. You're getting a little more action on that bottom bouncer and on that spinner. But the Smile Blades have been working really, really well for me over the last couple weeks. Colors, hammered silver, hammered gold. I think I have a hammered gold one right here. We'll have Jay switch the camera when he gets back from running the switchboard. I'm keeping him busy tonight. That's good. I've got a hammered gold spinner right here. Good old single hook hammered gold spinner. Nothing special about that. If I had to pick one metal spinner blade, it would probably be the hammered gold spinner. Hammered silver is working well also. When it comes to the Max Smile blades, I've got one right here. If I don't poke Jay in the eye, I'll show that. This is the UV Glow Burst, it's called. It's kind of a white pearl, mother of pearl looking, but it's UV. I've got 4 small white beads and again a single hook. Why the single hook? Well, the back hook does one of 2 things. It either gets snagged a lot or it ends up in the throat of the fish and you kill a fish that you might not have wanted to harvest. I try to avoid both of those things, the snags and dead fish. So the single hook is what I prefer. I will thread the Gulp on the hook much like you're threading a swim bait on a jig head. Thread it up on there. It stays on nice. When I tie my own spinners, I use a bait holder style hook, right? The ones with the little barbs on the back. If you remember being a youngster, we'd buy them in packaged on a little snell, but they had those sharp barbs on the back. Those barbs really do well at holding the Gulp on the spinner. So about 1.1, 1.2 miles an hour has been good for me. Areas where I've been pulling these spinners around, man, any flooded road right now is worth a look at with your electronics. And if you see fish on it, put a bottom bouncer and a spinner down and go down the road. From Pelican Lake all the way through the Minnewacan Flats into the main lake, into East Devil's Lake, or East Bay, I'm sorry, and Black Tiger Bay. Anywhere I have found a road deep enough I control on top of it, there's fish to be had there. Craig, you mentioned going across the tracks in Pelican Lake to the north. There's some flooded roads up there that every time I look up to the north, I see 3 and 4 boats on every one of them. So obviously any road you can get to right now, again, if it's deep enough to pull a spinner on it, there's a really, really good chance there's going to be some walleye there to catch. The deep edges of rocky structure, like I said, I've been down in that Fort Totten area. Probably shouldn't be telling people that because I won't be able to get on a spot this weekend now, but there's a lot of water there. Lots of boats around me, lots of boats netting fish. I saw a few good friends down there. They all had smiles on their faces. So they must have been doing pretty well also. The Minnewacan Flats area, again, all the humps and bumps. If you're not catching with bobbers up on top, slide down to the bottom edges and pull spinners around. School Bus Point has been really, really good the last few days if you're looking for a place to go load up on some eating size fish. Every now and again, even with the spinners, you luck into a big one. We got a 28-incher early last week on a spinner, and a piece of gulp worked really well. So again, colors, silvers, golds, whites, fire tigers. If you have some perch colored blades, throw them down there too. I've said this a million times and I'll say it again. Devil's Lake's one of the easiest lakes in the world to pick a color because they eat two things. They eat small white bass and small perch, and if you can mimic either one of those things in the water, you're going to catch a walleye. Third technique that I have been using, and I did this the other day just because I had to prove it to myself that it's still working. Hadn't done it a lot lately, but the wind was just right on one of my favorite rocky points in the whole lake. We had about an hour left in our fishing day and had the limit for my clients. We just wanted to go try something different, and that's casting. Primarily crankbaits now as the water's warmed up. Not that a swim bait won't still catch a fish, because they will, but casting crankbaits is catching some fish. I'm not going to give secret spots, but I know my buddy Jay that's here working with me has been out last couple days, weeks, and been casting crankbaits near weed edges. Again, I was casting a rocky point with the wind blowing in, and we did pretty good. We had 8 walleye in an hour and probably 15 white bass mixed in with them. I know a lot of folks give up on that shallow bite on Devil's Lake once the water gets warm, but when the conditions are right, there's always some fish shallow. So find your favorite weed bed. The thicker and more dense and more broad-leafed the weeds are, the more likely they are to hold fish. That long, stringy, grassy stuff that doesn't get very dense is not necessarily the best place to throw a jig or a crankbait right now. Cabbage weeds, coontail, thicker weeds, things with a nice edge, that's probably where you're going to find more fish. Or again, a nice clean rock gravel shoreline, wind blowing up on there. It's going to stack those fish right up against the shore. It's very similar to spring. Lures that worked for us, we had one person throwing a shallow flicker shad, size number 7. Those dive about 5 feet on a good cast that gets plenty deep enough to catch a fish. We had another angler in the boat throwing a number 6 flicker shad. One was perch, one was white. And I was throwing a new, what are the numbers? I think it's a 5, number 5, what's the new Money Badger, Berkeley Money Badger. I believe it's a 5. They have a 5, 6, and a 7, or maybe they're 5.5, 6.5, and 7.5. I don't know. But I was throwing the number 5 in a perch color, and I caught plenty of fish on that. I'm sure if you want to get over the weeds, an Esco old school throwback would work well. Shad Raps, number 5s, number 7s are going to catch them too. So those of you that like to throw Salmo Hornets, I would recommend the rattling ones, probably the 5.5. They're a little heavier. They cast a little better, but there is a casting bite happening if you want to do it. Last thing, and I have not done this, but I've been watching it going on around me, so I have no trouble speaking of it. But almost anywhere I've been trolling a bottom bouncer and a spinner, I've watched boats dragging crankbaits around, and they're catching them just as fast or faster than I am on the spinners. Anywhere from 10 feet of water outside a weed edge all the way out to the old Devil's Lake shoreline in that 24, 25, 26 feet of water with lead core. Again, old standbys, the shad wraps, the flicker shads, jointed shad wraps, jointed flicker shads, Salmo Hornets, all that stuff is going to catch them right now. Again, the bite is absolutely incredible. I don't think you have to work too hard at catching. It's finding. Spend some time looking at your electronics, move around the lake, check things out. If you see them, fish for them. If you don't see them, don't fish for them. So I really don't have a whole lot more than that. Do we have some questions? I'll look here and see. My buddy Craig was the only guy that asked me a question so far. So do we have anyone else that's got a question? Come on, guys. This makes it fun when you ask questions. And Craig, if you really want, I'll take you across the tracks just so you can see that I'm not lying to you. I think Craig's coming here in a couple weeks. Or actually, the weekend. Craig, are you coming on Saturday? I think it's Saturday. Kind of lost track. Do we have any questions? Any questions? Nothing. Well, I'm going to mention the giveaway one more time. I did not see Kelsey Moore reply to me like, yippee, I won. So, we have a question? All right, let's do a question.
On yours, Donald Schiffner is asking, what time of day is best?
What time, Donald, what time of day has been best? Well, I'm getting older and much more, we'll call it robust around the waistline, and I do not enjoy fishing in the midday heat. So I can't tell you how good it is from 2 o'clock in the afternoon on. I have been getting out on the water a little bit earlier and doing really well first thing in the morning. Launching my boat sometime, trying to be on the water well before 7 a.m. It seems like the bite is great in the morning. But again, deeper water hasn't mattered. If there's any chop on the water at all, it seems like the fish bite all straight through the day. So I cannot say there's been a preference. I don't fish evenings because I try to get home, put the boat away, and chill out for a while, but have not got out there later in the day.
Another one. Scott Cabarna, jig and wrap bite.
I haven't done it yet, Scott, but it's gotta be about time. The fish are in the right places for jigging wraps, but they're spread out enough that I've been trolling instead of fishing the jig wraps. Now, during our chamber tournament, which was 2 weeks ago, one of the teams that did okay mentioned stopping at a bridge and dropping jigging wraps just on their way through, and they did catch a fish that they weighed in their basket on a jig wrap at a bridge. So I'm going to say, Scott, that anytime now, right? Anytime now. It's just a matter of what's your preference to catch them. I've got a few questions here on this one. Oh, Kelsey. Looks like Kelsey Moore just logged in. Sorry I was late catching up on the live feed. Kelsey, in case you didn't hear, you're the big winner of the Devil's Lake photo contest giveaway, so congratulations. I'm glad that you got in here. So you know, the Devil's Lake Chamber has your contact information. They will reach out to you probably tomorrow so you can figure out how to get the wonderful prize package to you. I got a question here. Let's see, who is it from? That says, from Jeremy Carlson, are we shaping up for a good September or October bite? And I don't see how it won't be. The way the fishing was this spring, the casino tournament and the Devil's Lake Chamber tournament both surprised me with how many big fish are in the lake. The Chamber tournament especially, we had 5 fish for 28 pounds that won it. And don't quote me on this, but I think we had 3 other baskets over 25 pounds. I think 4th place and up was all 25 pounds or better. And 10th place and better was 20 pounds. It's been a long time since you had to have 20 pounds to finish in 10th place. So if there's that many big fish in the system right now, they do get a little tougher to catch in the heat of the summer. But once things start cooling down this fall, I would expect the big fish bite to kick in. All the eating size fish that we are catching right now are just going to get fatter and fatter and fatter as fall comes. That's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
I got another question from Daryl. How many different bug hatches do you experience during the summer?
About 1 million. Bug hatches. The question was, how many bug hatches do we experience during the summer? The first one of the year, almost undoubtedly, is on graduation day for Devils Lake High School, which is Memorial Weekend. And from that point on, I'm going to say there's a hatch going almost all the time. Some are bigger hatches than others. Some are bugs that don't really affect us on the water or not. But any day that it's calm out there, you're going to be swatting at something. I don't know if there's 20, 30 hatches throughout the year. They're all uniquely different. I will say this, one thing, folks, you should put in your mental notebook is Devil's Lake does not have a mayfly hatch. We do not have mayflies here. We have every other fly you can think of, but the regular, hardcore Minnesota, Wisconsin, Great Lakes mayflies are 2 inches long, 3 inches long. They're big bugs. We do not have mayflies here in Devil's Lake. So the bug hatches we have, while they can influence the fishing, they usually don't fill the walleye up. What they do, though, is they'll attract the bait fish to an area that are feeding on the bug hatch, and then the walleye follow the bait fish, so it will concentrate the fish. And I actually don't mind fishing during a bug hatch. Another one?
Another question. This comes from Josh Davis. On your bobber setups, if you use tungsten jigs, will you eliminate the split shot weights?
Yeah, you could. You could very easily. Well, the question was, in case you couldn't hear Jay on the microphone, if you use a tungsten jig on your bobber setup, do you think that would eliminate the split shot? I can eliminate the split shot with a lead jig if I want to use a big enough one. I don't like how big they get. I like a smaller jig, smaller profile. But the tungsten would do that perfectly. It would give you a smaller profile, a heavier weight, would keep that leech a little more stationary, and that would work very well. Tungsten's a little expensive. I'd make dang sure I had my bobber adjusted appropriately because I wouldn't want to be snagging up tungsten jigs all the time, but that would definitely work very well. I've got a question here too. Let me see, who is it from? Shane Cardinal, have you been to East Bay lately? Shane, I had the day off on the 4th of July, so I went to East Bay. Isn't that sad when a guy gets a day off from fishing and he goes fishing anyways? I only fished one spot. I bobbered up on a rock pile a little bit deeper, 23, 24 feet of water. Only fished for an hour. I had 4 fish in the boat. 2 were in that 16-inch range. 1 was a 19-incher and 1 was a 21-incher. So that's the first trip I've made east this year. Have not been over there, but man, the rumors and the fishing reports from that old lake shoreline area, what they call the one section, the station, I believe, it's directly across from Camp Grafton. That's been good. The deep shore, old lake shoreline out from Strummy's Addition has been pretty good. And I know there's been a lot of fish caught in East Devils Lake. A lot of tournament bags came from East Devils Lake so far this spring. Bryce Ryder asked, how's walleye fishing at the end of July? Bryce, that's a good question that'll lead us down the path here of, we talked about what's working right now, what's going to happen over the next, say, 3 to 4 weeks before my next seminar, getting us into the end of July. And I'm going to say absolutely nothing will change. July is probably the most consistent month of the summer for fishing. If I have fish on a spot today, I would almost bet money I could fish it next week and the next week and the next week, and they're still going to be around. Techniques probably aren't going to change. Maybe the exception would be adding the jigging wrap thing to your arsenal and maybe switching from spinners to more crankbait trolling. Again, that's a water temperature thing. They get a little bit more aggressive, but I don't believe it's going to change much at all in the next month. I think the shallow bite will get a little tougher. The fish will get tighter to the weeds. It'll take more of a perfect day to get them on shallow rocks for casting. But other than that, it's going to be good. I've got another one here, David Luker. Dave, good to hear from you, buddy. I saw you had a good weekend with the family over here. Does the size of a leech make a big difference when slip bobbing? I'm an interesting guy to ask that question to. The last thing I want to see when I buy a pound of leeches is a jumbo leech. Now, mind you, I'm a fishing guide. I'm not out there fishing for tournament-sized fish. I like those leeches that are between 1 inch and 2 inches long before they start swimming. I think those appeal to a wider variety of fish sizes. Large leeches, if you're in the wrong spot, do nothing but lead to frustration. If you're around a bunch of 14 to 16 inch fish and you're using those king cobras or mud flap looking leeches, a lot of times the fish will grab the leech and not get the hook, and you'll set hook after hook after hook and never hook a fish. So I prefer leeches that everything can fit in their mouth. Little guide trick, when you get down to those real little teeny tiny panfish leeches, try putting 2 on your hook instead of 1. They tend to swim away from each other, and it makes it look like a bigger leech, and I've caught quite a few fish doing that. So that's my take on leech size when you're bobber fishing. Got anything else, Jay?
I'm good.
Nothing else there. All right, well, we've been at her for 41 minutes, so little rundown again. Lake water levels 1,450 feet above sea level, so not a whole lot of change. Water temperature low 70s. Water clarity's good. Again, algae is a thing. A couple things to talk about. If you're coming to Devil's Lake and you can't get out on the water, or you get done a little early and you're looking for something to do, July is a fairly busy month, and I'm going to rattle these off, but I'm not going to give you all the details. If you want to know more about these events, you can go to DevilsLakeND.com. That's our Chamber of Commerce website. Look at the calendar of events, and all this stuff is on there, and it describes it in more detail. But starting tomorrow, the 6th of July, and running for most of the rest of the month, the Fort Totten Little Theater, which is our community theater, will be performing Footloose. And folks, I'm not afraid to say that these people do one heck of a job. I haven't missed a Fort Totten theater performance now in probably 15 years, if not more. It's a lot of fun. They're at the park right in town. There's food, there's drink. Yes, there are adult beverages served there if you have an ID. It's kind of a fun night. It's a good time. You'll tap your feet to the music. You'll see some local talent. They ship a few in from out of town as well, so it's a good time. On the 11th, we have Arts in the Park. That's usually a featured artist with some artwork. You can walk through the park and enjoy a nice evening stroll checking out some artwork. On the 13th of July, they're having a petting zoo at the library, I believe. At 7:15, there's a softball tournament, a men's softball tournament in town. Jay, that might be fun to get a bunch of fishing guys together and fish during the day and then play softball in the afternoon. Probably pull a hammy or something. But on the 20th of July, they're having yoga at the library. That's another good place for fishing guys to hang out. Let's see, the 21st of July, Jordan Davis will be performing as part of the summer concert series. And on the 22nd of July, and this is a day I've marked in my calendar, is Rib Fest. I went to our Rib Fest last year for the first time. Usually I'm on the water, and again, when I get home, I don't want to do something like that. But man, I walked around Rib Fest, and it's a lot more than ribs. There's games for the kids. There was some music, there ice cream, food carts. Of course, all the guys cooking ribs, and you can taste and throw your vote in on whose was the best. And I just got the date today for the community fish fry. That's not in July, but August the 17th is the Devil's Lake Community Fish Fry. I believe we're going to start serving at 5 o'clock, and we serve fish till it's gone. And that fish is from the Devil's Lake Chamber tournament. So there's quite a bit of pounds of fish this year to fillet and or to serve up. The Lake Region anglers do all the fish cleaning and cooking, and the Devil's Lake Chamber of Commerce provides the people to help serve and all the side dishes and fixings. So it's a corn feed and a fish fry, and it's open to the public, free will offering. Those of you that travel to town and fish a lot, you're welcome to. You don't have to live here to come to that, but it's a really, really fun event. So we'll go ahead and wind her up. Next one of these, first Wednesday in August. I'm not exactly certain what the date is that day, but we'll put a lot of notices out so you can come listen. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. August the 2nd. So thank everyone for tuning in. Hope you had a great 4th of July. Looking forward to getting out here. And again, hit me up. You can message me, text me, email me, whatever. I'm easy guy to find if you have any other questions. Thanks again for watching. See you on the water. Take care.